So hey friends, I had an interesting comment on one of my videos that I put out a while back from a lady named Nikki Page. She said she was trying to find female van dwellers with disabilities or mobility issues, and she came across my channel. And most of you guys know I am just a part-time van dweller, and I do have mobility issues. I've got arthritis in my hips and my knees, and it's just honestly very hard for me to get around. I can barely walk anymore. But I'm still going to get out and do what I can while I can, because I can. So I thought I'd just answer her questions and let her know what my tips and tricks are and how I go about this thing. Because like I said, I do love to camp. I camp almost every weekend except for in the summer when it's too hot. And I just thoroughly enjoy it. It's my happy place. So first and foremost, I guess, would be the fact that vans are very small spaces, if you haven't noticed. And the problem is getting everything in your van that you're going to need and having nothing that you don't, because you just don't have room for a lot of clutter. For me, I need my bike. I love my bike. That's how I get around in campgrounds and stuff. But that means I have to cart it around. In my case, I just bungee it up to the filing cabinets behind me, and then whenever I get where I need to be, I have to get it out of my van. Now, I used to use a ramp to get it out, and that was awesome, but the ramp took up too much room in my van. So at night, if I was trying to sleep with my ramp in my van and my bike in my van, there wasn't enough room for me. So I had to get rid of the ramp, and it's a bit of a Tetris game, honestly. I have to move the bike up to get to my filing cabinets or out, and then I have to lock it up. So there's all sorts of logistical issues that go on with this van life thing. So if you are mobility impaired, you need to keep that in mind. I know a lot of people keep their bikes on the outside of their van. That's not something I'm interested in doing. I just don't want to mess with the rain and the dust and the dirt and all of that. It's an e-bike. I don't want to do that. So again, to each his own. Everybody's going to have their own comfort level and what they think is right and what works for them. So take everything that I'm telling you with a grain of salt. This is just what works for me. Now, another thing that I have to have with me, because I live in Texas, is my air conditioner. If it's anywhere from, I don't know, late March, early April, up until October, I need that AC to even be able to sleep at night. It doesn't even get down below 80 here, guys. Again, I don't camp a lot in the summer, but when I do, I want that AC. So when I'm traveling, again, I have it bungeed to my bed over here. And then whenever I am set up, I have to set it up over here and vent out the window and all of that. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. If you have a problem with mobility, just keep all of this in mind. The less you have to move things around, the more likely it is that you're going to enjoy it. So try to have everything where you can get to it without having to move a lot of other stuff out of the way. I haven't quite got that down to a science yet, but it's the best I can do with the space that I have. And another very important thing to me is my bed. You're going to want a bed that's comfortable. There's nothing worse than not getting a good night's sleep and then getting up sore, right? So make sure that whatever you do for your bed works for you. Make sure it's long enough you can stretch out and that you can get a good night's sleep. Another important thing is to have a place to sit that's comfortable in your van. Even if you have a high top, guys, you're not going to be walking around a lot. I mean, there's only, like, you can take one step and you're done. So keep that in mind too. The point of the high top for me is the storage up above, more than the fact that I'm walking around in my van, because honestly, I don't very often. It's rather a mess in here right now, but as you can see, I've got quite a bit of storage space up above, and that's what I love about my high top. Something else Nikki brought up is the potty situation. Now, this is going to be something that's different for everybody, whatever your comfort level is and whatever you can do. I know that they sell all sorts of different portable potties and cassette toilets and things like that. Another option would be that if you're camping in a campground, to always be parked as close to the restroom as you can. That's one way. Other people do buckets. That's going to be something that you're going to have to work out for you. And I can't tell you what will work for you, that's for sure. But just keep in mind, if you want to go the bucket route and you want to go park somewhere, say in the desert for a week, you've got a week's worth of bucket bags. Just remember that. There's pros and cons to every way. You just have to figure out the right way for you. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, another thing that's very important when you do the van life thing is planning. So if you're planning on hitting state parks and Corps of Engineers parks and things like that, where they are pay campgrounds, then you might want to take a minute when you're doing your research and reserving your spots to try and pick a spot where the picnic table, the fire ring, and everything are very close to where you're going to park. That way you're not trying to carry a bunch of stuff far away from your van to get comfortable down by the picnic table. Again, this is different for everybody depending on what your disability or mobility issue is. So for me, I can't walk very far. In fact, I use a cane almost all the time. So one hand's always full. I really can't carry a grill very far or something like that. So I always try and park right next to where my campfire is going to be or my picnic table so that I can be close to my van where everything is that I need. And I just don't drag a lot of stuff out of it. That way I don't have to drag it back in. Right? Makes sense. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Try and keep it just as simple as you can. So try and keep everything within hand's reach so you don't have to get up, move things out of the way to get to something. If possible. It's not always possible. It's a van. Again, there's not a lot of square footage here, guys. So best tip I can give you is don't bring stuff you don't need. So something I have been contemplating doing is just getting rid of this passenger seat. I haven't done it yet because I do still travel with other people from time to time. But if I did get rid of that, I could move my bike up there. And I could probably move that air conditioner up there, which would just solve all of this. And in fact, that's probably going to happen one day. I think it definitely needs to happen before I take another long road trip, because I think that would just make such a big difference, not having to move a bunch of stuff around. Now, when I am taking long trips, a lot of times I don't even want to get my bike out. I want everything in my van, especially if I'm boondocking, because I'm not always really familiar with the areas. And if I have to book out real quick in the night, I don't want anything outside my van. I want to be able to just drive away. So keep that in mind too. Again, depending on what you're going to do, what type of camping you're going to do. If you're always going to be in a state park or something, then I wouldn't worry about it too much. You can just walk your bike to your picnic table, not worry about it. But if you're out boondocking, anything can happen. So be prepared. All right, with all that said about bringing everything you need but nothing you don't, in some instances you need more than one device that will do the same thing. For instance, on lighting, you don't want to just have one flashlight or one Lucy light, because something can happen to it and it won't work anymore. So I do recommend you have 2 or 3 lighting methods maybe. They're small, right? Another thing that I always have more of than I probably need are fans. I do have a electric in my van. I've got a solar system with batteries, so I can run a fan all night, or 2 or 3 without any problems. So I do have that. I've got window screens for my windows if I need ventilation, and of course if I'm plugged up to shore power, then I can run my air conditioner. In the winter I have a Buddy propane heater, and then I also have a couple of those little electric heaters in case I have shore power. Now those little electric heaters also have a fan mode, so those are just one item, can be used for 2 different things. Definitely recommend that you have more than one way to stay warm. You know, always bring socks and gloves and hats and things like that if you're going to be camping in the winter. No sense in being cold. Something I just don't care for. Love camping in the winter, don't like being cold. So I'm just not. Have everything I need to stay warm. Another thing that I have more than one of, or more than I probably need of, is water. Because you really can't have too much water. I carry, I think it's a 7-gallon emergency tank under my bed, and then a 2-gallon water jug right here by my door that I use for washing up, teeth brushing, even dishes, and drinking water. I have a fold-out shower that I've actually never used, and a bucket, and a rechargeable shower head to take showers if I need to. I have used that before, but I've just never used the tent. If you're out boondocking in the mountains, there's nothing more freeing than just taking a shower out in the woods. It's kind of awesome. I highly recommend it. Most of the time though, I do go to a state park and utilize their showers, or a truck stop. I've done that a few times and that's awesome. Works great. They're always nice and clean. So again, there's always more than one way to skin a cat. So Nikki's comment gave me a lot to think about. If and when I ever get to go full-time, I don't really know if it'll be in a van or not, but if it is, I know my biggest struggles would be things like doing laundry. How would I carry my laundry into a laundromat and do all of that, carry it back out, put it all away? I suppose you just figure it out. Right now at home, I've got a laundry bag that I can just throw over my shoulder, and then I can still use my cane to get around. So, yep, you just figure things out that'll work the best for you with the least amount of pain and agony. It's not always easy. The number one thing I would recommend is to have a really good friend like Vicky or Frugal and Dan that can help you out whenever you go camping. I'm telling you what, I am so blessed with my friends. I don't know what I'd do without them. Vicky has made my life so much better just by being her. So I'm just at a park here in North Texas. Like I said, it's way too hot for me to go camping. The heat index is well over 100 degrees every day. That's just not my style. Now, I do have a water hose in the back and a sprinkler. So I have in the past gone camping in a state park, hooked up the hose and just stayed wet all day. But then you're just pretty much staying wet all day. I don't want to do that. So yeah, I'm just enjoying my mornings out here. I've been getting up early, going out, enjoying my mornings on the days that I'm not at work. It is about 8:30 in the morning and it's probably 85 degrees already. I am getting hot. So I'm going to end this video here. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please drop your comments below if you can think of anything that I've forgotten that might help folks who want to get out and do this but aren't sure that they can physically do it. You can. I have faith in you, Nikki. I know you can do it, and I hope you have a blast with it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Y'all, stay lost, my friends. It's just a little afterthought here. Even just having that case of water there that doesn't go there, and having that bike lock there that doesn't really go there, and that sticker that fell off my van. There's like 3 things, and my house is just a mess, if you will. So you can tell how quickly and easily things can get out of hand in a space this small. Tidiness is your friend for sure. And that is definitely one of my, not my strong suits, is being tidy. But this is making me, right? Yep. This is van life. Tight fit.